what's up? It's Chet Buchanan from 98.5 KLUC in Las Vegas. You're listening to the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. Tell all your friends so these guys can get paid.
What up? What is happening? This is the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. I'm Ryan Hoppe.
And I'm Ryan SuperRICH.
A.K.A. Super Rich. Get what we did there? We mixed around the letters in his last name. All right, where can you be found on Twitter so people can tweet at you their opinion?
You can follow me at Ryan SuperRICH, STUPRICH. How about you, Ryan? Where can people find you?
Hoppe Radio 893. So what happened, Ryan?
There was a school stabbing in Pennsylvania yesterday.
But you would have had no idea because those trolls at CNN, it wasn't like they were talking about the Malaysian airplane for a whole month now. It wasn't like Fox News was talking about how awful Obamacare is. I mean, honestly, this happened, and they weren't even talking about it. Wolf Blitzer was like, coming up later, we have the school stabbing. But first, here's the latest on an airplane that's 2 miles down and in the middle of the water in the Pacific Ocean or the Indian Ocean. And talk about something for once that's actually breaking, you trolls. So what happened, Ryan?
Well, this is from CNN, ironically enough.
Oh, yeah, but you can only get it on their website. You have to go to CNN.com. They have to talk about how the Malaysian airplane is 3 miles down in the water. Ryan, where's that black box? You'll have to go on Pornhub to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is the article.
Yeah.
A day after a Pennsylvania student rampaged through his high school's hallways, swinging 2 kitchen knives, hints of a motive remain elusive. Who is this 16-year-old, and what troubled him? Hriebel was charged as an adult and faces 4 counts of attempted homicide and 21 counts of aggravated assault related to the 21 people he wounded. Some classmates describe him as having few friends and being quiet, which would make sense.
Part 1. I love how no one died, so no one in the media cared. Like, if there was 21 people that died, oh, CNN, oh, Fox News, Megyn Kelly at CNN, she would have been on it. Wolf Blitzer.
But the difference is that they were wounded, so
no one died, Ryan.
So nobody cares.
Oh, yeah, trust me. And part 2, I love how they say, oh, he was very quiet. He was very timid. That happens every time.
Right.
It's never the outspoken jocks that bang every cheerleader in sight. It's never the nice chess nerds who go to Harvard. No, it's the quiet douchebags who have nothing going on in their life, and they're complete losers.
So his name is Alex Hriebel, but it has a silent H in front of it. It's kind of confusing.
It's always those weird names, too.
Yeah, exactly. So Hriebel's lawyer says, this is not a dysfunctional family.
Actually, real quick. Don't even address his name. Call him the shooter. Because there's no reason to have his name out there. Because if we keep making his name household names...
That's what he wants. He wants it.
So what happened with the shooter?
Well, the family lawyer says this is not a dysfunctional family. They're like the Brady Bunch.
Are you sure?
These parents are active with their 2 sons, and we're trying to figure out what happened.
Are you sure it's not a dysfunctional family? Something had to go wrong if
Obviously,
the shooter...
Yeah, it's the person, not the circumstance.
I swear.
Murraysville Police Chief Tom Seafield said investigators haven't made sense of the mass stabbing either. We believe through the investigation that this was random. We don't have anybody that was targeted as far as we know at this point. The man who stopped the attacker was a 60-year-old assistant principal who tackled him.
What a badass.
I know. The administrator, Samuel King, said Hriebel are neighbors living only 2 houses from each other on the same street. So what led them to coming face-to-face, not on Sunflower Court, but in the chaos of nightmarish attack. So, I mean, the article just goes on to say that the FBI has seized electronics belonging to Hriebel, including a computer and cell phone, and will analyze them for any clues.
Gee, I wonder what they're going to find on that computer. What else does the article say? Look on, but I love what they're going to find on the computer. Like, it's going to be like porn, how to kill someone besides a gun so they can't afford one. It's going to be some illegally downloaded movies.
Yeah, and I mean, here's what I want to know. How do you stab 21 people without being stopped? Like, how is that possible?
Was he, like, really skinny and was on a track team and was
I don't
really
know.
fast?
This guy, I mean, he stabbed, like, 21 different people, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he stabbed 21 different people. You would think after, like, 2 people are stabbed, it would just stop. Like, somebody would tackle him, somebody would do something, because it's just a knife. He's not holding a gun. Yeah. You know, he's got a knife, and he's stabbing people.
It's not even a nice one. It's a kitchen knife.
So you could probably just, like, grab this scrawny little kid and shove him to the floor. Like,
well,
I don't know.
Do something.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's only 16. He's probably, and if he's not very popular and kind of quiet, he's probably a small, not very strong kid. I don't know.
He's probably the kid when he gets called on in class. They're like, so what did you take out of Huckleberry Finn? I didn't read the book. Thanks, the shooter.
Thanks, shooter.
Boom, boom.
He walks in the class. Pew, 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 pew.
But you know he's that kid when he gets called on, and they're like, okay, shooter, Bill, Wendy, and Bob, you're all working together on a group project. And Bill, Wendy, and Bob are like, I have to work with the shooter. That weird kid who sits in the back and has a CD player from 1985 and listens to classical music during class.
Yeah.
I have to work with the shooter, man. That sucks.
I mean,
you know, no one likes him.
So according to the article, they don't have a whole lot of information yet because they're not sure what the motive was.
They might never find out. Is this kid going to talk? No.
No, I don't think so. I think he probably wants to be locked away, just for the hell of it.
He has nothing going on with him. If he ever went to a community college, he'd be nothing in life. So there's really no reason for him to even try in life. What? He's going to live in his mom's basement for the rest of his life? What's the difference between living in your mom's basement or being Bubba's bitch in jail? Like, nothing. Like, come on. Think about it.
So there were some emergency calls which could help, solve a lot of things. Murraysville only has a population of about 20,000 people. It's a quiet middle-class enclave roughly 20 miles east of Pittsburgh. So it's close to Pittsburgh. And I guess recordings of emergency calls released after the attack provide a soundtrack of sorts to the terror and chaos that played in and outside the school.
I hate listening to those calls, man. They're so awful. You just hear the terror.
I know. Well, it's like scary. Like you can never imagine being in that situation.
Like it's more scarier than anything you'll ever see in movies like Saw or like Freddy Krueger. Like that's actually legit scary. Especially when you hear like the kids like screaming in the background, you're like, "Oh man, dude!"
Yeah, you just like don't want to know. So an officer was quoted saying, I don't know what I got going down here, but I need some units here ASAP." Minutes later, in another call, authority officials breathlessly detailed casualties, about 14 patients right now. And then, obviously, it escalated up. They have multiple stab victims, one officer said. So bring in EMS from wherever you can get them. Yeah. And students standing outside the school heard screams and stuff as the fire alarm went off. They probably helped get more people out of the school during an evacuation order. And some students were running everywhere, and there was chaos and panic, he's quoted saying. And that's Seafield, the cop who's at the school.
I've always wondered what's it like when this happens, like an attack in a school, like just the terror and the madness of like people running into each other and people screaming, and you're just trying not to die. I can only imagine just like where your heart. It's like when you have the most worst thing that ever happens to you in your life, like either getting pulled over by a cop or you lose something. Or even when you're like little in middle school when you don't get that class project done.
Yeah.
And you have to tell your teachers about everyone. Yeah, I didn't do the sign.
I've done that before.
Yeah, I've had that too.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I had better things to do, like not do the project.
I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
I can just imagine how awful that feeling is, just where you're running around and you just don't know what to do. It's almost like you have to go with your instinct and you just have to like figure out a way not to die. You just...
Right.
That chaos must be the worst feeling ever.
Yeah. So about 50 officers in all from the FBI and local law enforcement agencies had worked on the case. And according to just other people, Ribel couldn't seem more normal the way his lawyers describe him. So it's sort of a shock to, I guess, the community that he would do something like this.
It's always the people that are like really normal and quiet. Like, oh, I never would have expected this from him. Even though he used to kill cats in his backyard and then skin them, we never would have saw this coming, man. Come on.
He's just growing up.
That's just some of his growing pains as a weird teenager from Pittsburgh.
Right. So I guess the case is going to be moved to juvenile court. So I guess...
what? Take this punk-ass bitch and take him to a real court. What's the juvenile court going to do? He has to be here in 5 years where he's protected and he learns how to be an adult. If you're such a little tough guy, if you're such a little punk-ass bitch who has the power and the sense to bring a knife to a school and to knife 28 different people, then you should be in a big boy court. And you should go to a big boy jail and face big boy punishments. Am I right, Ryan?
I completely agree with you. I think
punk-ass bitch.
I think that whole juvenile rule thing sort of doesn't apply to a 16-year-old even, because like he knows what he's doing.
You're doing.
Yeah, you know what you're doing, so you should definitely go to like actual jail. Let's see here. The Westmoreland County District Attorney John Peck argued against bail, so he's with you, saying that there could be no conditions that would protect the community, and that Ribal made quote unquote statements when subdued by officials that he wanted to die. So, this guy isn't as normal.
There's no reason to have him on Earth. Kill him.
Yeah.
Absolutely kill him. If he wants to die, what's the point of wasting taxpayers' money just to put him through a court thing and then we know he's going to be found guilty? If he wants to die, kill him. Actually, take him in the back, put a knife through his heart and kill him. I know that sounds harsh. I'm not even trying to sound
I understand what you're saying.
Kill him. If he wants to die, there's no reason to have him on Earth. He just knifed 28 people in a school for no reason. Kill him.
The students who were hurt range in age from 14 to 17, and the injuries were stabbing related, obviously, such as lacerations or punctures. Lacerations aren't nearly as bad as punctures. If you have a punctured like lung or something, like that's really bad.
Yeah.
4 victims were in critical condition, including one who was eviscerated and may not survive. So there's one person that may die, and that would then turn into a murder case, which would be obviously a lot worse for him and his family because he could be in jail for... I mean, he's already going to be in jail for a long, long time, if not dead, but also he's going to be in like jail for life probably if he kills somebody.
And then if he does go in jail, he's going to be that same loser that gets protected. If you're not going to
he's going to be like in a padded cell by himself or something, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you're not going to be killed off, you might as well just put him into general population and let Bubba deal with him. But no, he's that innocent kid that means well that just snapped. Let's put him in protection where he's in a padded room and gets meals. Enough of you, jail system.
And so the school said that about half a dozen prayer vigils were held overnight and counseling services are being arranged for students. And that is that.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely a joke that the Hoppe and Super Rich show covered it more than CNN. It's an absolute abomination that we went more in depth about it, that Super Rich's news went more in depth than Fox News.
Yeah. I mean, we got the stories here. We got the stories for you.
And the reason we haven't covered the Malaysian airplane is there's no breaking news. It's the same thing. You can learn more about a black box from going on a certain part of Pornhub than you will on CNN. There's no breaking news. Absolutely none, Ryan.
I know. And, I mean, the whole thing with the Malaysian airplane is just like, when are we going to find it?
It's dead. It's in the water. I posted a thing on Twitter, at Hoppe Radio 893, where the plane's like 3 miles under the water.
Right. It's just like, you're never going to find it. All the people are dead.
I can only imagine
it's not like you're looking for survivors. Like... I don't understand why, like, a lot of people still think, maybe my family member's still alive.
No, it's dead. Sorry.
They've been dead for like a month, okay?
And not just that, but imagine the terror of dying in a plane crash. It's such a disgrace that the news is making us into some entertainment
this isn't
for
Lost.
the ratings game. You're an embarrassment, Anderson Cooper. You're a joke, man.
This isn't Lost where, the plane, like, somehow landed on some secret island, The plane's underwater somewhere dying.
But do you see where I'm coming from? These overpaid news anchors just sit behind their desk with their nice fancy suits and dresses talking about this as if it's a TV show, as if you're recapping last night's Lost episode from 2007. Come on. It's an absolute joke, Ryan.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And the second part that really irks me as a person is no one's talking about this that happened in Pennsylvania because no one died. We're never going to resolve the problem as Americans if we keep putting it underneath the table. Just kind of sweep it under and forget about it, like it never happened.
And I don't know what the I'm not sure what we should do to make people like this go away.
Kill these punks.
But I mean, there's been a lot of school-related issues like in the last 5 years.
I feel like that guy from Aurora, Colorado, set everything off.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, before that, there was, those 2 shootings at Virginia Tech, and there was a couple shootings, I think, at Northern Illinois University and stuff.
NIU, in 07, 08.
Yeah, it's just...
Columbine happened.
It's not... people aren't doing anything to make this go away. And I don't know what the solution is, but it's not, but obviously something different needs to happen.
Here's one thing that you can do. Don't make these guys a household name. Like, we called him the shooter after saying his name because there's no reason to make him a name. And number two, cover it fairly.
Yeah.
Like, don't just sweep it under the rug, CNN. Come on, man. What are you doing?
This should be the most important story right now, honestly.
Not the Malaysian airplane where there's no breaking news.
I mean, either this or, stuff that's going on, in other countries maybe is more important. But
like that whole thing in Ukraine or Russia, that might be a little bit more important than when there's no new news in Malaysia since last March.
Yeah, there's no point to keep talking about an airplane that's missing and gone forever. And if you find it, great. You're not going to find anything except a bunch of dead corpses. Or if you don't find the plane, you don't find it. It'll just be one of those unsolved mysteries. And that's okay. There can be unsolved mysteries. But CNN and other news outlets should be covering something like this, something that's happening in our own country, something that we can try to prevent.
And then maybe you should move on as a TV network when you're bringing on these experts. I once flew a plane, so I'm going to come on CNN on the Wolf Blitzer show or Anderson Cooper 360.
Is that what they had?
Yeah, they just had these experts, like airplane experts.
Airplane experts. Well, I think the plane derailed at this pinpoint on the map, and then at that point it dove down into the water.
Here's what I think happened.
I don't need 5 different opinions on what happened to the plane.
When you're speculating on a news channel, you have some issues, man.
Because then you're just standing there talking just like nonsense,
And CNN is run by the same tool who used to run NBC. He's run by the same imbecile who thought it was a good idea to replace Jay Leno the first time with Conan O'Brien.
Ooh,
he's the same imbecile who
rough.
canceled. Yeah, he's the same imbecile who canceled good shows like My Name is Earl. I cannot remember the guy's name for the life of me.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. The guy should not be known. He's a tool. All right. This has been the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. Check out hoppyradio.com, hoppysroll.com. What's your website?
RyanStuppers.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at RyanStupperich.
And tweet at us at that name and at hoppyradio893 if you want to give your opinion, as the media barely covers this. You have an issue when Hoppe and Super Rich went in more depth than you ever did.
Yep.
Get your act together.
The Hoppe and Super Rich Show.